Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls out here on the West Coast. It's a special edition weekly webinar this week. We're doing it on a Tuesday, same time, just different day. There's some good reasons for that because in the U.S. we're coming up on a major holiday with Labor Day, so we thought we better sneak this one in a little bit earlier in the week instead of our traditional Thursday format. But moving forward, we'll be back to our weekly webinars on Thursday. A little bit of housekeeping. So we have a couple of shows coming up if you're in the area and want to interact. I'll be at the Channel Pro show on September 9th, and then that evening I'm hosting a beer fest. This is in the Boston area for all of you out east. And then on September 11th, I'll be at the D&H Canada show up in Toronto if you want to get involved in that one. Got a little bit of Microsoft business the following week down in Fort Lauderdale, so if anyone wants to get together for a beer fest or something down there, tap me offline. And then most importantly, we have the 12th annual SMB Nation Fall Conference coming up September 26th through 28th back home at Microsoft Redmond, Seattle area. And I got to tell you, the response has been overwhelming. I think we did a couple of things right this time. So we brought the conference home, and we have the curbside appeal of Microsoft's campus, as well as, quite frankly, a little bit more focused and serious summit. We enjoyed our 5 years in Las Vegas, but Las Vegas has a very different motion to it. The other thing I would tell you is the content. So people are really embracing the Office 365 conversation. They want a 3-day. They want to go deep with the development team. They want to go deep with the product managers. So we're pacing for our goal is 300 attendees. We're very much on that pace. So it just feels great. And welcome back, everybody. Now, with that said, that actually hooks into today's conversation. So with today the webinar is on a mobile application that we're using. You're going to hear a lot more about the breadth and depth of the mobile application with 2V. But what I would tell you is we're using it in terms of the primary communication vehicle for the SMB Nation Fall Conference. With that said, let's jump right into it because there's a whole host of applications for the SMB partner to take advantage of this with your customers. That's just one use case. So Bob Nitrio, why don't you come on the line, sir, and introduce yourself, say hello, and introduce your friends, and let's get this party started.
Well, very good. Thank you, Harry. Harry has already introduced the fact that we're talking today about 2VHub, which is a robust mobile app for two-way communication, and it's a product of Logic Tree IT Solutions in the Sacramento, California area. I'm Bob Nitrio. Many of you may know me, and if you don't, I am the CEO of Ranvest Associates in the Sacramento area. And today I am being joined here by the entire Logic Tree Solution team, which is Rich Madalena, the President and CEO, Satish Kanchi, who is the Vice President and CTO, Don Frazier, who is the Director of Operations, and Maria Atwood, who is the Director of Unparalleled Customer Support. So to set the stage for what we're talking about, I think we all are aware of the fact that mobility has emerged as something of a transforming event in our space. Smartphones and tablets are leading the charge in this respect, and this, of course, has major implications for all of us, including our clients. I would like to just kind of set the stage here for why this is so important. In January of 2010, Gartner predicted that mobile web access would surpass that from PCs by the year 2013. And they actually predicted an increase of 30 million mobile internet users in the year of 2010. That actually has taken place. And this particular infographic here speaks to the change in percentage of sales of new smartphones over the period of May from 2011, where they were 35% of the market, to May of 2013, where they took 56% of the sales. That's a 60% delta in market share in just 2 years. And at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, which you may or may not be able to see, it indicated that the average age for first cell phone use is now 13. So think about that. Today's children are born in the cloud, but they're also accustomed to mobility practically out of the cradle. And this has huge implications for the way that people go to market going forward. So finally, in the year 2014, January, mobility took over the top spot in accessing web content versus the desktop. They were about a year later than what Gartner had predicted, but it finally happened. So really, there's a huge opportunity in mobility, but from my standpoint, I don't really see it as being phone sales. Rather, the big opportunity in our space involves application, training, and service opportunities. So really, what does this mean for all of us? Well, we know that smartphones now are the new communication device of choice. They are becoming ubiquitous, and they really can't be dismissed or ignored anymore. There was a time when people questioned whether or not these things actually were going to take over. But as a matter of fact, they have. So from my standpoint, what does this mean? I think this actually means that we have a huge opportunity in mobility. And it's a green field, place where you have a blue ocean, if you want to use that terminology, to move forward with it.
Hey, Bob, you got to pay me a royalty. Hey, that's my word. That's my word, Bob. Hey, by the way, Bob, I didn't ask. Do I have permission to have fun with you today, or should I be corporate?
If you can't have fun with me, you can't have fun with anybody, pal.
Don't be corporate with us.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Continue on, sir.
Okay, thanks. So I'm going to go through a very short anatomy of a mobile app. For most cases, apps are single purpose, they're limited and isolated in functionality, and they're really focused on customer acquisition. And when you think of different apps that you use, I think you'll see that this is a pretty accurate statement. There actually is a really big cost to developing a custom app. And so what I'd use this tool to do here is to show you, if we select the iPhone as a platform and say we want to create a new app with a custom interface, we'll go ahead and select that as a choice. And we don't actually need a login system. We're going to try and keep this very inexpensive. So we'll click on No Login System. We're not going to take payments through this app, so we're going to click No on that. And we really don't need it to sync data across devices. So again, we're keeping this as inexpensive as possible. Then we have no user ratings or reviews going back and forth, so we're going to click No on that. And we don't actually have to have profiles. Again, keeping it really inexpensive, we'll click No on that. However, we do want this to be integrated with a website to be cross-platform functional. So we're going to click Yes on that. And finally, we want a custom icon for the app, otherwise why have it? So we'll click Yes on that. And what you see is we're going to start from a raw idea, because we haven't really done this yet, and we click on that and we get a $15,500 cost for this whole thing. So that's a lot of money to spend, and quite frankly, most small businesses can't afford that. So this is where Logic Tree IT enters the picture. They have been a stable software development company since tracing their roots back to 1984. They have a history of very successful products, and what they do is basically focus on solutions that really make sense for their clients. Now, their apps are what we call highly adaptable apps because they can easily be tailored to vertical markets. There are 4 vertical market apps that they have in play immediately today that you can take advantage of. They have USPD Hub in the public safety sector, In School Hub in the educational field, TwoVieHub, which is predominantly what we're going to be talking about today in private enterprise, and My Youth Hub amongst youth groups. A little later on, we're going to show you a couple of the features of each of these. But what is TwoVieHub? Well, first of all, it is a two-way communication platform. Unlike the other apps that we've talked about previously where they're single purpose, this is completely different. It is a communication platform. It is multi-purpose and multifunctional, and it's focused on interaction with existing clients. That can be between you and your clients, or between your clients and their clients. It works as a hosted service, so it's obviously software as a service. It's robust, but it's very easy to manage using the management portal. And best of all, it's ported to all three platforms. Again, being highly adaptable, you can actually tailor this to some narrow vertical markets as well. Two of the vertical markets that I'm personally working on at the moment are apartment communities and homeowner associations. Now, they both involve housing, but they're both significantly different. In the one case, we're dealing with tenants, but in the other case, we're dealing with people that actually own the properties that are being managed in a community called an HOA or a condo association. We're going to be dialing in a vertical app for each of these that will join the other four that you saw previously. So, being highly adaptable, it can easily be tailored also to a broad vertical market. One great example of that is SMB Nation's adoption of the TwoVieHub platform for the company, and I have also adopted it for my own IT services work. To show how this can be adapted even further, however, when you get to the SMB Nation fall event, you're going to receive this exact piece of literature, and it's going to show you how to start by downloading the SMB Nation app and then downloading what we call a sub-app for the event itself. And then you'll be able to get all of the information about the event right from your app on your phone, regardless of which platform you have. So what we talk about here then is the fact that this app can actually be subdivided. So the SMB Nation example shows that they have created a sub-app for a fall conference, and if Harry were to go out and create an Office 365 Nation tour, he can quickly and easily create another sub-app that addresses that particular event as well. In the world of commerce, and the world that I work in, particularly in property management, here's another example. Ace Property Management can have their primary app, but then they can go to market with property owners and create actual sub-apps that speak to specific apartment communities that they manage. At the same time, they can create a private app just to be used for their work with their on-site and off-site managers. So the flexibility here is endless. It's limited only by your imagination, quite honestly. So at this point, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mr. Rich Madalena, who's going to walk you through some of the features of the app and the ease of management that you'll encounter with it.
Thank you, Bob. I am excited about the opportunity to present our system. We've worked hard and diligently to put together a platform that can be depended on. Our original work started with law enforcement in creating the USPD Hub, which was designed for law enforcement agencies to get critical information out to the community and do it in a timely manner. And at the same time, they requested that they had the opportunity to receive feedback from their community. So we worked with that, created a solution, and as time went on, we found that with the features and functions that we were building, this system really began to lend itself to enterprise solutions and move toward the TwoVieHub as you see it today. One thing that we concentrate on at Logic Tree, and I was fortunate, 50 years ago I had a mentor that started me off in business, and the one thing that he really pushed was customer care. Make that customer comfortable with their interaction with your company, and it'll move forward. So at Logic Tree, we really focused on two things: creating a platform that is stable, creating a platform that's easy to use, but from the company's perspective, make sure that our users have a good experience when they're either looking at the app or trying to function with it. To that end, all of our screens, all of the system back-end from the dashboard carry a live chat opportunity, so our clients can get to us with questions easily, and our phone number is published and gets answered by a live person as we move in. I'm going to work through the dashboard rather quickly just to give you a quick overview of some of the features and functions and flexibility so that you can begin to dream about what opportunities might be out there for your businesses. The first area that we look at is the messages coming in from the app users. Messages that come to your system will show up on your dashboard, but rather than having you have to pay attention to that dashboard, your PC can carry a widget that constantly monitors the system, so you can get notification almost immediately. The system also sends an email to anyone that you designate, so as information comes, particularly for law enforcement, as it comes to the system, it's directed to someone that can respond. Contacts is a module that we've created. It gives the app owner an opportunity to email any publications, any content that you might have built that's being displayed on your app. The gallery gives you an opportunity to let people know what's going on a timely basis. No limit on the number of images that you'd upload, and the flexibility of positioning the photos or content is wide open. So you can really create a storyboard, if you like, on your company and update what's happening. The update module is an area, and we'll talk a little bit about how data goes in, but it's a button on the app that allows you the opportunity to build and display any content as well as images. In this particular case, the Register Now button is a link that will give the app user the opportunity to go to the registration page for this particular event and sign up without having to go into any other mode of sign up. Calendar is very simply an event calendar. SMB Nation is using this for their 2014 fall conference, and they've begun to build their events on a per-day basis. And by touching any one of those events, you get an overview of what that particular module entails. Surveys is a module that we're excited about. It gives you the opportunity to reach out to the community and get their pulse, feel their pulse, if you will, and get an overview as to what your public thinks of whatever questions you've got out there. You can handle it with polls, multiple choice, and only one type of answer. Bulletins is similar to updates in that it creates another button on the app, if you will, icon, for you to create different type of information. The critical thing with this is that it works from a set of forms, which makes the input much easier, and I'll give you a demonstration of that shortly. Notifications was designed specifically for law enforcement originally, and what it's used for is to get critical information out to smart devices in a very real-time, quick manner. Missing persons has been one that's been used quite frequently, and then of course in this particular case we're happy to report that this person was located, and the department followed up with a message that they pushed telling people that they were located. In the case of the SMB Nation situation, from time to time during conferences, an event may have to be rescheduled. There may be a problem with the venue, and push notifications can be used to send out to all of the attendees, letting them know that, whoops, we've moved to another room. That way no one's late.
I'll tell you, if you don't mind, I got to tell a funny story that's exactly right. And some years ago, Bob Nitrio, I think it might have been '07 when we painted the car that was it Maxtor donated the car to the not-for-profit. Remember, and we filled it with all the hardware equipment from HP and so on. But I knew we became a real conference when one of our speakers missed their post, missed their duty from having a little bit too fun the night before, apparently swimming in the pool. Bob, this is a family show. We're not going to go into details.
Exactly.
There's women and children on the air, but the point is, you know, you become a real conference when, for whatever reason, you have an emergency reschedule, and that's what this app would do. But please continue, because that's exactly right. That's a great example.
Well, Bob, of course, has got a favorite story that he uses when he's demonstrating the app, and that's when he complains about the temperature of the room. And I've learned now, hanging around him a little bit, that that's frequent. He continues. I think he's having hot flashes from time to time. But he immediately goes to the app and sends out a comment to whomever and says, "It's too hot in here, I can't concentrate." So we enjoy Bob's comments. The app system has really been designed to give the app owner, for lack of a better description, your client, the opportunity to dictate how it functions, how it displays, and how it communicates. By going into the system setup, and that's what I'm trying to show here, but you have total opportunity to control the header and the information that's shown on the header. You have the opportunity to change the icon, button names, if you will, so that it begins to fit your enterprise, not locked in to names that we sit in meetings trying to come up with. The other is in the form of communication and how the app can communicate back to your dashboard, your people, letting them know what goes on. We carry geo-tracking, so that opportunity is available as well. Some of our police departments insist that there is not an anonymous opportunity. Others insist that they want tips that can be anonymous. So all of these features give you the opportunity and the flexibility of using the system that fits your business. The content entry is pretty straightforward. Everything is menu-driven. Most of our menus look like the menu you see on the left. Content is entered into what we call blocks. You can add as many text blocks or image blocks to a bulletin or an update as you please. It's simply a matter of scrolling when you display it on the app. We've set the system so that you can create data displays, keep them private until you're ready to submit, but we've also set the system so that you can create 3 months worth of information that you'd like to display on your app, and then set the date that the system will publish it, so you're not constantly being inundated with trying to keep information current. The module that I mentioned earlier, Bulletins, works throughout the system in the same way, except that it has the opportunity to work with predefined templates. What you're looking at are some predefined templates that we've created for law enforcement, and the template to the right is a custom form that we developed for one of our clients. It's called their crisis call log. They use this on a daily basis, 3 times a day, 8-hour shifts, and they log every call that comes into their center, the goal being that their group of phone operators need access to that data, and they are mobile. So this information is easily input, and you'll notice that there are a number of drop-downs. So when we get into a situation where you have conferences and you're going to be considering the same type of data, creating a form like this with drop-down information and text blocks makes it a lot easier to get it to the app in a timely fashion. All in all, the area that we really push, again, as I said, is creating a good customer experience. What we're working to do is make our apps the most powerful communication tool that you can use in your business. With that being said, I'll turn this back over to Bob, and he can...
Thank you very much, Rich.
Hey, Bob. Bob, if
Yes,
you don't
sir.
mind, a little bit of housekeeping. We're at the bottom of the hour. Folks, I want to remind you, not that you already don't know, but be sure to use the chat feature to ask questions that you might have. I've already got a couple when that time arrives, but Heather will marshal up the questions, and we'll get those answered as quickly as we can. So with that said, Bob, take it away.
Okay, well now we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of how you're going to make money with this app. Most custom apps take anywhere from 3 to 6 months to develop. With TwoVieHub, the typical time to live for the app is an incredible 2 days, and that's not a typo. That is a fact. Now, getting the App Store to get these published will often take between 2 and 4 weeks. That's a constant regardless of who creates the app. And the fact of the matter is that Apple is the one that takes the most time. On the Android platform and on the Windows platform, the approval for the app in the App Store is much, much quicker. But be that as it may, what TwoVieHub can do for you is to give you a ready-to-go app for you and for your clients that requires minimal training. This is one of the incredible benefits of this particular platform as compared to trying to do this for your clients from scratch. Now, we mentioned earlier that there are 4 current app platforms that are ready to go. The USPD Hub, TwoVieHub, In-School Hub, and My Youth Hub. I'm going to just give you a couple of quick examples of information inflow and outflow from each of these. So with the USPD Hub, this is a gentleman who was missing, and on the left, they published the information, got it out to the public so that people could actually see who they were looking for, not just a notification like you see sometimes on the freeway signs that there's an Amber Alert, there's a missing child. Think about it. If those Amber Alerts all went through an app like this, it would be so much easier to find that child because you'd know who you were looking for. On the right, somebody's taken a picture of graffiti and they're reporting it to the city in this case, or the police department, so that they can aggressively go after these things, wipe them out, and show to the gangs that want to do this kind of thing that there's really no purpose in doing it. For private enterprise, New Millennium Technologies sent out a notification that the CryptoLocker virus is still out there. It gives them some reminders down below as to what to do about it, and obviously that's a good thing. On the right-hand side, somebody had the bad experience of having a blue screen, but because they had the app, they were able to take a screenshot, send it along to New Millennium Technologies, and New Millennium was able to see that screenshot, start researching the cause of it, and go into remediation much more quickly. In the educational market, an example is a calendar which shows all of the lessons and different things that are being promoted at this particular school so that both parents and students will know what's going on. On the right-hand side, sending information back to the app, somebody captured the fact that a child was being bullied behind the gymnasium, and that gives the school principal or other authorities the ability to act very quickly to get behind the gym where this occurred and to sort matters out and perhaps prevent things from happening like this in the future. And finally, an example for youth activities is a notification, once again, that there's tryouts today for a basketball team on the left. And on the right-hand side, somebody took a photograph during the course of that tryout, posted it up there, and it could be immediately available in the gallery. So in real time, people that couldn't be there can actually see what's going on and have the satisfaction of getting at least some information since they weren't able to attend the event. Those are just some examples. A good example of versatility is SMB Nation itself. Since adopting this platform, you can see on the second slide from the left, that there is the SMB Nation app, and beneath that is the specialty app subdivided for the fall conferences. Going to the right from there, you see a listing of the different business tracks that have been created, and by tapping on any one of them, you get a complete description of that business track. You know when it's scheduled, you can see who the speaker is, and you can decide if that's the correct one for you or if there's a different track that you'd rather pursue. All of this is done very quickly and easily through this platform. That's the benefit of it. And here are just a few of the police departments, schools, and private enterprises that have already adapted the wonderful functionality that this platform provides. So really, it comes down to this. What can TwoVieHub do for you and for your clients? First and foremost, it's a new solution that you can market to existing clients. You don't actually have to go out and find a market for it. You already have a market for it. It positions you as being a very, very current person with market trends. Not everybody out there has a mobility offering, and if they do, oftentimes it's nothing more than, we can sell you phones, folks. Well, this is way beyond phones. The basic things you really need to understand is that by working with a mobile app with your clients, it's going to create a stickiness that you otherwise wouldn't have. It seals that relationship with you and them in a way that other things can't possibly even begin to do. And you're going to have new revenue streams. So on an initial sale, you're going to get a sales commission. You're going to be able to charge implementation fees, and you're going to be able to train your users. These are all great revenue sources. If you didn't have a mobile app offering, this would not be available to you. Better yet, it's an evergreen type situation because you're going to get recurring revenue as well. There is an annual renewal commission payable to you. You get to maintain the content for your clients if they prefer that you do that. And again, there's training to be had every time a new version of the app comes out and new features are added. All of those things you can charge for. So let's talk about what those commissions are. On the initial sale, you're going to get 10% of the entire transaction. And that includes the initial year of service, the setup fee, and the sub-app fees. Your client also gets a 10% discount on the first year of service. With recurring revenue, it's very simple, straight percent, 10% of the renewal fees. So let's take a look at an example where you're delivering just the app. On the initial sale, you're going to get 10% of the discounted initial year of service, which is $1,529. The setup fee is $750, one-time fee, and the total there is $2,279. So your commission is 10%, $228, plus all the services that you're going to add on to it. When it comes to renewing that client, the renewal fee will be the full $1,699 for the year. Your commission is $170, plus any additional services that are required or needed at that time for the next year. Now, if you add just one sub-app, things change pretty interestingly. You still have the same initial discounted year of first service. You have a sub-app fee now of $699. The total then switches to $29.78. Your commission is almost $300, plus your services. The recurring revenue also goes up, as you can see. The total becomes $23.98. Your commission becomes $240, plus your services. In some cases, you will be able to add many sub-apps because it just makes sense for the organization to be able to subdivide the app into discrete areas. So there's a lot of money to be made in commissions with the sub-apps. So as far as partner requirements, yes, sir.
Yeah, Bob, you hit on one of my favorite topics about making money. So let's not let that.
Agreed.
Let's not let that one fly by too quickly. So a couple of thoughts. First of all, let me give you guys and the listeners an industry viewpoint. You know, I'm out there, as I like to say, doing the work of the Jesus every day, and it's changing very quickly. So here's, for whatever reason, in the last month, I've had more conversations with people that are adding on, you know, in and of itself, a service or a solution that's not going to make you a millionaire, right? So for example, there's a sponsor we'll be announcing at the fall show that's similar to LifeLock. Think of LifeLock for the business community, not the TV ads for the consumer per se. And they are finding that they can attach to an Office 365 sale and make that an add-on. Now, would our reseller get rich off of, you know, a $2, $3, $4 add-on? No. But it's the, Bob, it's the stickiness, and then it's also the services. And when you start to combine all this, right, so maybe some antivirus, some backup, some LifeLock, some this, some that, It's just a new way of thinking, and I'm just seeing, since I saw you at the CompTIA show down in Phoenix a few weeks ago, it's almost a month ago, that's scary. But it's our mentality is really starting to shift, and so I just wanted to capture that because I think you're very much in line. That last slide where you had the services revenue, you know, there's just more you can do with the client from sort of your favorite topic, sort of the business advisory services, and so on. So I guess that's my point. I just wanted to emphasize this is a mega trend, and you know, guys, it's hard to swim upstream against a current, and you do far better to just roll with it. Does that make sense, Bob?
Yeah, actually it does, because it's differentiating you from the competition. There are a lot of MSPs out there, and they all do essentially the same thing. When you are having conversations with your clients that are business-focused, showing them how they can extend their market into the areas where people are looking for information now through a mobility app, you have a different conversation going, where you can provide something that can't be done in a short period of time before, and now do it in a couple days' time. You're providing something of value. And for yourself, you're creating an evergreen revenue stream, which is what it's all about. So yeah, you've hit the nail on the head, Harry. We're changing business models, and this falls right into play with that. So
now, I have a question. Would you prefer us to marshal the questions to the end, or do you want to take them as we see them?
we're just about through this, Harry. So let me get to these last couple of slides, and then we'll have plenty of time for questions.
Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Excellent. So because this is easy for your clients and yourself to get into, the partnership requirements also are very easy. There's really only one. You just need to embrace TwoVieHub. And there's basically just 2 steps to do that. The first step is to get your unique code through SMB Nation. And then the second step is to buy the platform for your own company's use at a discounted price, set it up, and just start using it. When you eat your own dog food, as we've said in this business, it becomes so much easier for you to actually show your clients why this is something that they need and why they can make it a profitable thing for them. But if you're really not ready to jump right in right away, here's the second option, and you can actually partner with an existing partner. And in that case, what you do is you close the sale, the partner submits the order on your behalf, you do the training and the implementation, you do the content management, but here's the key piece. You maintain the relationship with your client. You work out an arrangement with the existing partner concerning the monetary considerations that are involved, but you can jump right in without actually using this on your own. But you are going to have to learn how to do the training and implementation. You are going to have to learn how to do the content. And again, the easiest way for you to do that is to use the app for your own business. So a live demonstration really is something that settles the point in my mind every time. It's one of the most powerful things I've ever seen when it comes to mobile apps. So all you have to do is ask for one. Up on the screen now you see all the contact information for Logic Tree. And I think when you see a live demonstration, the picture is going to be worth more than 1,000 words. It's going to be worth thousands and thousands of dollars of recurring revenue. One point I'd like to make is that with the Youth Hub and the In-School Hub, Logic Tree has made a very big commitment to helping education and helping youth in this country. They have priced the app and the sub-apps for those particular markets very, very aggressively at just a little bit more than 50% of what it would be for private enterprise. So you have the opportunity to go to entire school districts, Little League groups, soccer groups, almost anything, and put into their hands a powerful communication app that they will be able to embrace very, very quickly and easily. One of the best features is the fact that they can actually monetize this. A banner ad can be sold at the bottom of the app. So it's entirely possible for you to position this with youth groups or with commercial clients as a way to generate income and offset the cost of this. It's a truly big business discussion that you can have. And you can reach us offline to have any kind of conversation you'd like so we can provide some education as to how that works. But it is a huge opportunity. And so Really, this is a time to seize the opportunity. When something like this comes up, you really want to be as fast to the market with it as you can. And this is going to give you the opportunity to tap into one of the fastest growing markets today. You can get started with this, as you've seen, with minimal effort, and you can position yourself as the thought leader for your clients. So go to TwoVieHub, use a promo code specific for you here, SMB Nation 2014. That'll give you your 10% discount so that you can install your own platform and really just start offering your own mobility solution today. It's just that easy. So with that, we're going to go to Q&A now, Harry.
Okay. Well, again, let me, or maybe I'll put it together as a question. I don't know, a statement or a question, but let me think of a use case. You know, here's the deal that my friend and yours, I'm just making this up as I go, Bob, but I think this works. So
sure.
Matt Makowitz, a well-known MSP author in our community, my friend and yours, and he recently, he's now selling real estate on Bainbridge Island, and quite frankly, he's doing pretty well. No one ever disputed Matt's sales prowess, let me tell you. And so he's got a new gig, and they are Bainbridge Island homes. I'm going to say, I've been over there. There's probably 15 realtors. And, you know, Matt's a connector. I'll give you an example. On July 3rd, he had a pool tournament at the street end. Their office is right on the street, and so on. And, Bob, I guess what I'm getting at is it seems like a real estate company that wants to hold some lunch and learns or a pool tournament or do what they do in terms of attracting customers, that could be an attractive candidate for a variation of this application. But more importantly, the computer guy or gal or MSP that serves this real estate company could approach them and say, we need to be doing more of this. We need to be using technology for marketing. Bob, you know, probably the overwritten word today about the CMO having more influence on the technology budget than the CIO.
Yeah. There's a lot to that.
Yeah, it just seems like you really could make it a niche. And for those of us that can't do Intuit accounting or Sage accounting, this is just a different kind of service, and mobility's hot. So I don't know. Seems like a slam dunk, man.
When you think about the possibilities, you can go out to local chambers of commerce. Tremendous tool for them to communicate with their membership. You can go to the local real estate board. Tremendous opportunities for you to have them hook into all of their realtor members in all of the offices that are part of that association locally. One of the things that attracted me to working with this company on this is the fact that it is so pliable. It can be adapted to almost anything. And quite honestly, if somebody came to us and said, I think we have a vertical market that we could create like USPD Hub, we're going to listen to that, and we're going to try to see if we can make that happen so that the deployment of that particular vertical now becomes a template-driven deployment. That's why I'm working closely with property managers that manage apartments and property managers that manage homeowner associations. A little bit different, but we want to have a ready-to-go platform for them. And we might call it Apartment Hub, and we might call it HOA Hub when we're done. But the whole idea is to take from people that are working with us the things that they see as a long-term vertical market, and we're going to make it easy for them, every deployment.
Yep. Okay, I got a question. Folks, be sure to use the chat feature to ask your questions. The question is from Seth Winger. Seth asks, can you point out the share button for Facebook and Twitter on bulletins? Can you point out the share button for Facebook and Twitter on bulletins?
I'm not quite sure exactly what that means, but there are a number of features that we obviously didn't go into, Harry, because of time constraints. But one of the features of the app is the ability to take any of the information and content that you've put and with one button share to your social media. Our whole point of view within this system is to try to keep the user input to a minimum so that you're not duplicating effort. You don't have to create the same content in 3 different locations. And I think that might be what they're talking about.
If Seth wanted to see this live right now, we're not actually doing a live demo. That's a different process. But again, just simply call, ask for a live demo, Seth, and the folks here at Logic Tree IT will be more than happy to take you through a full-blown presentation on how that works with social media.
Yeah, well, and Bob, I would offer if you want to use it, sign up for the SMB Nation Fall Conference September 26th through 28th in Redmond, because it is our tool of choice. And of course, I'm being a little facetious, but it's not only a true story, but let me tell you what worked for us. I don't mind sharing the economics behind some of the event management business. And the reason is everybody's doing this. It's not like we cornered the market on good ideas, but I can tell you, rare is the day now that you go to a professional conference and they have a full-on color brochure. And so, you know, we all know this. Everything's gone online, and the 80-page glossy magazine, Bob, you don't even see that at WPC anymore. So they're just not thinking that way. It's gone to the mobile app and the web. Well, that saves a significant amount of money, because if you guys know anything about printing, the thing that kills you in printing is attractive, glossy, you know, 40, 50-page brochure / magazine where you only print like 600 units of it or 1,000 units. And it's darn near as cheap back in our magazine day to print 54,000 units as it was to print 1,000 units. And you know, that's the way printing works, is you get the leverage. And so by eliminating that, we've been able to, quite frankly, hold the line on cost is probably the short story. That, you know, we're trying to get content out there, understand, you know, we're all licking our chops here from the recession, and so it's cost reduction. And Bob, I think that's part of where you can go in to the client set you suggested and pitch this as IT yet again cuts cost, you know, if that makes sense.
Actually, you and I had that conversation before you adopted the platform, and that's one of the big attractions. You can look at your client's business and find innumerable ways that a mobile app can get them out into the space where they need to be quickly and with the right kind of content at minimal cost. When you look at, you know, $25,000 to $45,000 for just one app and multiply that maybe times 3 for different platforms, you're looking at a lot of money. When you're looking at months and months of development, you're looking at a lot of money. This solves all those problems because it's software as a service. It does it on a large scale. And I think I'm going to tell you a couple of things here that we really didn't discuss in advance, so don't shoot the messenger, okay? First item, but you're going to love them, Harry. Here it comes. First and foremost, Logic Tree IT is going to be at the event in September, and they're going to be demonstrating this entire platform. So for those people who are have the foresight to know that they're going to go to the event, they will be able to really get into the nuts and bolts of this on site if they'd like. And here's what I think is going to be the premier giveaway of the event. Logic Tree IT is going to raffle off the platform and the sub-app to one lucky winner. And if you don't think that has value, I think it's going to be the premier giveaway of the fall conference, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that does have value. And again, what can I say? What can I add to that, Bob? I mean, go to the different studies. The research house we favor is Honorog at Tech Isle. Bob, research houses are like pollsters, and so the Democrats and the Republicans, they all have their favorite pollsters, and they all get very different results right before the election.
Of course.
And so there's Gartner, there's Forrester, you know, there's all the research houses. We've lined up with Honorog down at Tech Isle in the Bay Area. So if you guys go to Tech Isle, he has some free content up, and it just confirms what we all know to be true, that the growth in mobility is, you know, unbelievable. and you want to jump on this. Last call for questions, folks. We want to make sure we get you back to the salt mine on time, so I'm going to give it a last call for questions. Bob, maybe if you could go back one screen that has some of the contact and offer information while we're doing a last call.
Okay, I'm giving it my best shot here. Come on.
Oops.
There it is.
There we go.
Thank you. I do have a reverse gear.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine that. Boy, these things have gotten sophisticated. So folks, I'm going to, just like I say, a little bit of housekeeping, and we'll call it good. If I don't have another question pop in, couple of chances to get together. So I'm doing the Channel Pro show in Boston on September 9th, followed that evening by a beer fest. Contact me offline at harryd@smbnation.com or extension 103 if you want to have a chit-chat about that. Then we have the D&H show up in Toronto on the 11th. I've got some personal Microsoft business in Miami, Fort Lauderdale around the 17th, 18th if you all want to get together for a beer fest. And then most importantly, we have the 12th annual SMB Nation Fall Conference, September 26th through 28th, focusing on some forward-looking conversations. I would put mobility in the mix as well as Office 365. So I think we're clear on the question front. Bob, do you want to bring this plane in for a landing and we'll call it good?
Well, I just want to thank everybody that joined us today. I applaud the fact that you're looking for something new. I myself have found this to be the most intriguing thing that I can add to my solution stack in a long, long time. The opportunity to not only serve your clients' needs is huge, but the compensation is actually a whole lot better than selling anti-spam at $1 a seat from now until hell freezes. So I'm on board with this. My app will be published very, very soon, and I'm planning to make this thing very, very successful for myself, and I hope other people join us as well.
Harry, thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Cool. Sounds good. Okay, well, we'll call it good. Folks, have a fantastic Labor Day weekend. This webinar is now officially over. Thank you very much for attending.